my tablet is better than your tablet because my tablet can run Android and it can play AAA games that were created for the Nintendo Switch because it is a Nintendo Switch, but it's got Android on it. Now, the Android is flashed to a micro SD card. I'm not going to put Android on the internal flash memory. Nobody's dumb enough to do that. So putting it back into Nintendo Switch mode is as easy as turning it off and turning it back on again. In order to actually get Android on there, you'll need, the R4S dongle or equivalent of it, running Hakete. And it's not a bad little thing here. Because it's running on a micro SD card, the speeds are a bit limited. There's a bit of bottlenecking going on. Even though this is on the fastest micro SD card the Switch is compatible with, it's still not as fast as, an actual internal flash memory. But it's not bad. The internet's shoddy a little bit sometimes, but there is internet. Right? Let me touch that. Come on. There it goes. As you can see, it boots right up to Google. I can log into Facebook, watch YouTube videos. There's even a website that I was watching, and I watched the full Simpsons episode on it. But with the shoddy internet, it's kind of not the most practical way of doing it. There's Google Play Store. Let that load up for 2 seconds. And the Joy-Cons work to both control the Nintendo Switch. Hold on. There it is. To both control the Nintendo Switch Android, and to play video games with. And I do have a few video games on here. I have a Nintendo 64 emulator. The only game I have for it right now is Ridge Racer 64. I have Real Racing 3, and I have Ridge Racer Slipstream. And they don't run horribly. They actually run pretty smooth. There's a couple of hiccups occasionally. I suspect that's due to the bottlenecking from it being on a micro SD card. But it's playable. Very, very playable. And so, because of that, yeah, this is the best gaming tablet ever. It can play AAA games that are made for the Switch, and as well as indie games made for it, and it can play Android games. Now, most Android games are just shovelware, but there are some good gems. Personally, I quite like Ridge Racer Slipstream the most. So I'm going to actually find a way to stream Ridge Racer Slipstream on the Nintendo Switch here. But because modern Android operating systems won't allow you to record internal audio, I'll have to think of something. Perhaps using an auxiliary cord going from the headphones up to the mic of my PC. And then I'll probably upload a video to YouTube. And then I'll download the video and then sync it up with the audio or something. Now, the program I'm using to record is called it's this one, and it's a pretty popular one, AZ Screen Recorder. And the problem is that when you record something in horizontal view, the quality becomes a bit lower. The resolution gets bad. So I'll also try to record this with my camera as well. Now, the Switch, because obviously the Switch comes with a dock, this version of Android can be streamed directly to a television or a computer monitor. And it does it flawlessly. So, yeah.
And as you can see here, this is on the Switch. The controls do work.
2, 1, go! See you at the finish line.
There's no latency with the, none that I can notice anyways, that's with the controls. And this even works, yes, indeed, when in Android mode. As you can see, wireless controller makes it easy. And then as you can see, it is docked, and it is also hooked up into my TV screen. Yeah, you guys get the idea. The Nintendo Switch, so long as it can be soft modded, is the greatest fucking thing ever with regards to handheld gaming. You can put Android on it, you can play Switch games. Yeah, it's just great. And you can play Android full screen. You can turn it into a PC if you wanted to. I love that. So, but the only problem is that the only soft moddable Switches out there are the ones that were made up until like sometime mid 2018. Every other Switch that came out after cannot be soft modded. They patched it because people were putting porn images on video games that kids play, and they were doing it online. Plus, they don't want people pirating, and they don't want people modding video games either to give them an advantage, because that just ruins the fun for everyone. So to an extent, I do understand where Nintendo is coming from. But at the same time, a lot of people are just doing shit like this with their Switches. Basically making it even more of a hybrid than what it already was. Now, obviously, Nintendo's not going to be a fan of that, because like unlicensed games are basically being played on their hardware, but I bought the damn hardware. I can do whatever the hell I want with it. So, peace.